Hey, what is up? So let's talk about my cage system for the A7R III or the A7III. I'm using this for video and photo, and as you can see, I use the Small Rig Cage here on this A7R III. And yeah, it's quite used, as you can see on some of the edges there, and it's fine, it's totally good. SmallRig did put out good stuff in the recent years. One of the value brands that really deliver quality. But they have something new. They have the new colored scheme, so to speak, a brand new series of cages and accessories, and even the packaging is now a bit more modern, so to speak. They don't use the plain cardboard boxes anymore, at least for this series. And yeah, this is the A7III cage, but it also works on the A7R III because it's the same body basically. And yeah, it's pretty nice and simple. So there you have it. This is the new cage. It's a different design. It's sleeker. It's thinner, so to speak. If you compare it to the old one, it has a little bit less mounting holes, and even this part especially is different. Also the top is a little bit different, as you can see here, and especially this side is a little bit sleeker. Actually is nicer to hold, and the bottom here, as you can see, is still basically the same stuff here. And now they include this little mounting tool. They have this with all new cages. I have the A66000 cage here, and also has this little mounting tool here, and they have all this new sleeker design. Yeah, so let's try this out, put it on, and see how it fits the A7R Mark III in this case. So first, I think I have to remove the lens, just to be safe. Put on the protective thing here. So also first, I think I have to wait and see how the weight difference is. So old cage, it's around 237 grams. And the new one, it's a little bit heavier, funny enough. Let's remove this thing. If you put on the plate underneath, you will have a hard time getting to it anyways. So without the tool, yeah, it's basically the same weight. So you don't really gain any weight loss because of the different style or less material, so to speak. So yeah, basically it's the same. You also have this thing here, so the camera is secure, and it's the same mounting mechanism. So there you have it. So this is the new cage. It's a little bit, as you can see, you have more space here. This whole thing moved a bit, so you have a bit more clearance for stuff you mount on the hot shoe. Also, you can reach the knob here a little bit better, and also this. And also this side here is a little bit slicker and smoother, so it's nicer to hold. Also, those edges are fairly smooth, so to speak. The old cage really was a little bit, especially this edge here, as you can see, and also here, this was all a little bit, and this it was a bit tricky to use, or not as comfortable when you just use the bare camera without any grips and stuff like that. Yeah, so pretty nice. I really like the new cage, the new design. So let's mount some stuff so you can see if things still fit and work like I used to do. So the first thing that I used, or still use, is this wooden side handle. The only thing that I had to change for this case design, yeah, so for the older design, this was a bit more forward, so I had to switch basically the orientation of this mount here, but it's totally fine. So because otherwise the door of the card wouldn't open. So one side note, you can also get a newer grip that is released with this cage as well, that has the area lock knobs in there, so you can have this mounted easier. But I keep using this one because it still works pretty nice. So usually I go ahead and use the Allen wrench that is included in the mount and tighten those knobs here. And usually I go with the side handle for video mode. So for photos I really don't like to use this because it's hard to get to the trigger here. But yeah, for video this is the must-have accessory. So the next thing I usually mount when I go for a rig or something like that is having this Sony audio unit. So usually some mount it here, but this is a bit too far. I usually go and mount it on this cold shoe here. So the all-over rig is more balanced. So it goes on here and I tighten it up. It still works pretty nice, even though the cold shoe here is a bit smaller overall. As you can see here, it's used. This is a bit bigger, but since I used it for a few days now, this is also quite secure. Now here comes the multi thing, and this has a little bit more clearance here. So this is now nice and fine and tight. This is my usual rig. So sometimes I also use this headlight, so to speak. This is the Aperture MC. This is a really nice light. Keep in mind this is mostly when I use it on the full rig, not on the handheld mode though. So that is alright. So the last thing that I also use is this little cold shoe extension arm thingy that I used with the A7III A7RIII cage to have the mic mounted here. So I usually put it over here. For that I most likely remove the whole unit just to have a better mount clearance. So usually it goes right there. I mean, you could get other cold shoe mounts or something like that, but I had this and it works. Also, this kind of protects this cable. Yeah, so now the video WirelessGo goes onto here. Cable goes right there. So there you have it. So one thing most people asked if the HDMI cable protector holder thingy still works on this cage, because this part changed quite differently. And I have it on my rig, and I can say yes, it still works pretty nice. So I'm talking about this little clamp here, as you can see, and it still fits pretty nicely. So now I have the HDMI cable. I put it in so that I get a right space. There you go. And now I screw this in with the multi-tool here. Yeah, so this works pretty good, still works fine. So when I put this cage on the rig, I will have this cable clamp protector on, just to be sure that the cable stays in and the cable doesn't get damaged. So happens all the time. So the last thing that I usually would put on is this Manfrotto Plate on the bottom here. And as you can see, I can still open up the battery door and stuff like that. So this is all fine. This goes on for the tripod and my rig. I have a quick release for Manfrotto Plate on the rig. I will talk about the rig at some point, I guess, in another video, because I just wanted to talk about the new cage and how it works and how things fit. So one more thing I want to talk about is with the cable clamp, can you still put in headphones? Yes, it still fits quite good. You have to maybe wiggle around a bit, but it usually works just fine. Just have to push a bit sometimes. But there you go. The headphone with a small cable like that works just fine. If you have a bigger cable thing, then you have trouble. But with those iPhone headphone thingies, this still fits pretty nice. So yeah, there you go. Okay, there you go. This is the bare bones setup, just a cage. I usually would go out with this setup when I mainly shoot photos and video a bit, but yeah, it's really much nicer to hold that way. Really nice. So what do I like? I like the new color scheme. I like the new design. It looks more modern, sleeker, really nice. Also, it fits nicer into the bag because of the edges that are gone. It's a little bit smaller and tighter and sleeker, so it fits in a tight bag a bit better, especially with this big edge on the old cage and this one. It all kind of sometimes just didn't fit. Also the edge here, it's much nicer with the new design. Also, I like that you have a little bit better access to all the knobs. Everything else works pretty nice. Open doors, nothing gets in the way. Even if I don't use it because I have the plate over here, but it's also a nice addition that they have that tool included. But sometimes on the road you don't have a screwdriver or even the multi-tool with you all the time. So this is nice. You can basically mount or switch anything with this little tool there. Yeah, so basically pretty happy with this new cage. The only thing that I don't really like is they changed those holes here. On the old cage they had it on both sides. It's missing on this one. So basically what I do, especially for photo work, I have this quick release thingies now for the shoulder strap. This is also from SmallRig, they have that as well. So I usually mount this here. It's a little bit trickier to mount actually and fit those here. Sometimes kind of. So it was easier on the old ones. Just put it in and you know it's fine on both sides. Here it's a bit tricky. I think it's a compromise for the new sleeker design. As you can see, it's you have to go in and wiggle around. So and yeah, so this I don't really like. So. But there is nothing really here on this side now. They haven't down here. They had that on the old one as well. This might be fine if you have like a shoulder thing going on. But yeah, I really don't like it down here. So you can mount it also on this side. But I don't think it's intended to do that. So what I could try is to get it through this hole here. Yeah, I mean it fits kinda. Yeah, I mean it will work. And now, by the way, I really like the shoulder strap that SmallRig has as well. There you go. I mean, it works pretty much as well on this hole here. Yeah, so this works fine, but this is my only complaint. I think they don't have space. They might have space here, that would be a nice addition, but then again, I think that would be a little bit tricky for all this. But yeah, it would be nice to have a mount for this on this side. So this is my only complaint. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the new cage. I hope you like this little hands-on overview for the new Small Rig Cage, the updated version to the old cage. I think the old one is still a good solution, but if you need a little bit more versatile and slicker version, especially when you work with photo without anything, and need a few more modern log mounts here, I think the new one is a better fit for you. Also the color is nice. Anyways, so that's it. Let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions. I will talk about my whole shoulder rig setup that uses mostly small rig parts as well at some point, I think. If you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one at some point. Peace out.